How's it going, you guys? AZPlyo21 back again with another episode of our UFC save in WMMA 5, and today we have UFC Fight Night Adesanya versus Oezdemir. This is the debut of Israel Adesanya in the light heavyweight division, so it is sure to be a very interesting contest. Should be a good one. The last time that I saw you guys was for UFC Fight Night Rodriguez versus Ortega 2, where Brian Ortega knocked out Yair Rodriguez. That was a pretty interesting one. The next time that I see you guys will be for UFC Fight Night Covington versus Rachmanov. Colby Covington finally fighting against Shavkat Rachmanov in the main event live from Wisconsin. And then after that, it'll be our pay-per-view UFC 305 Prochazka versus Pereira. Two titles on the line, with Prochazka taking on Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight championship, and then Alex Volkanovski defending his lightweight championship against Grant Dawson. Should be an interesting couple of events. Appreciate you guys as always, whether you watch me on YouTube or Twitch. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you have not already done so, and let's go ahead and take a look at the rankings as of this last Monday. We have Valentin Moldavsky coming in heavyweight, was winning quite a few local fights, so we decided to bring him in. He is ranked in our heavyweight division. Nothing at light heavyweight or middleweights. At welterweight, we do have Carlos Leal jumping into the number 6 position after his win over Christian Lee, who, where did he go? Dropped down to number 24 as a result. Nothing at super lightweight. We have signed Usman Nurmagomedov at lightweight, which could make for a very interesting fight in the near future, considering we just got Habib back as well. You can see right there, Abubakar, Habib, and Umar, all blood relatives, so that is going to be very interesting to see in our lightweight division. We just got ourselves a hopefully new star. He's only low-level regional in America because Bellator doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. We also just got this guy, Aji Sardari, number 25 lightweight in the world, number 8 in our division, apparently out of Cage Warriors. So the Iranian will have his debut at some point in the near future. Featherweight, Brian Ortega all the way up to the number 1 spot. Currently we have Arnold Allen slotted to fight against Volkanovski, so that'll be Volk's next featherweight fight. He's also the lightweight champion, which could make for some very interesting scheduling. Bantamweight, we have a couple of guys debuting at Martignoni and Davy Grants, who is now ranked. Congrats to them. Lightweight, Zifa Shang and Tim Elliott move up. Women's featherweight, Macy Chasson moves into number 14 after her win in the last show. At bantamweight, it's a whole clusterfuck because there's not very many good bantamweights, so anyone that we sign who's on a little bit of a winning streak, they're like instantly into the top 10. I'm sure that'll sort itself out eventually once these girls have, had a few fights in this save. Women's flyweight, nothing going on. And then women's strawweights, Marina Rodriguez gets a big win over Lemos, who does not move out of her spot despite losing. So that's interesting. But that's going to do it for the rankings. Let's go ahead and get into the fights. Adesanya and Oezdemir. We are live from New Zealand. Let's get it. We have Nasrat Haqparast taking on Khalil Amir in our first fight here in the prelims at 155, and we have Amir getting the win in a fantastic fight via knockout here today. I bet no better way to start off your UFC career than with a big knockout like that. Diego Lopez taking on Dan Ige at 145, and it's Ige on the prelims beating Diego Lopez here today. Now in real life, Diego Lopez is a fucking G, and he'll probably fight for the title at some point soon. Paul Hughes taking on Hussein Ashkabov at 145, and it's Paul Hughes, the Northern Irishman, getting the win in his UFC debut. Cage Warriors champion. I know someone's been asking me to sign Paul Hughes. Well, there he is, and he gets a big win in his UFC debut. Haile Alatang taking on Miles Johns at bantamweight, and it is Haile Alatang getting it done here today via submission against Mr. Johns. Raoni Barcelos taking on Bezkat Almakhan here today in the bantamweight division, and it's Barcelos with the split decision at 37 years old with the 19th victory of his career. Jafel Filio taking on Tagir Ulanbekov in the flyweight division, and it's Ulanbekov with the decision victory, the 14th win of his career, and he wants to fight Horiguchi next. Good luck with that. Staying in the flyweight division with Bruno Gustavo da Silva taking on former title challenger in Tim Elliott, and it is Elliott with the unanimous decision victory. I'm a big fan of the veteran, as He gets his 21st victory here today. Makoto Takahashi taking on Alan Nascimento, staying here in the flyweight division. And it is Takahashi with the 20th win of his career at just 23 years old. Unanimous decision victory over the Brazilian here today. Up next, we have Liana Jojua taking on Lorraine Santos in the bantamweight division, and it is Santos with the TKO win deep into round number 3. She wants to fight Irene Aldana. Final prelim fight, it's Estela Nunes taking on Hannah 24K Goldie. Hannah Goldie is a good Instagram follow, if you don't mind me saying, but she loses deep into round 1. TKO victory for Miss Estela Nunes. Main card time, as it is Joseph Holmes taking on Vladimir Meniv in the middleweight division here today, and it's Meniv with the split decision win here today. His UFC debut is a successful one. Dominic Reyes taking on Jacob Nadeau in the light heavyweight division. He is a huge underdog to Jacob Nadeau out of Slovenia. He is 1-0 in his UFC career after a win over Maxim Grishin, and it is Nadeau getting the TKO win over the former title challenger in Dominic Reyes. Ali Isaev taking on Hugo Cunha here today at heavyweight, and it's Isaev with the split decision victory. Only an average fight, not the greatest. He is still undefeated. He is 2-0 in his UFC career with big wins over Volkov and now Hugo Cunha. Tyson Pedro making his return to the octagon out of right here. I was going to say New Zealand, but it's actually Australia. He takes on Alonzo Menefield, but Menefield knocks out Tyson Pedro in just 2 minutes. So not a good homecoming for Mr. Pedro here today. The Celtic Kid Jake Matthews takes on Chaos Williams here in our co-main event at 170, and it is Jake Matthews getting it done in 3 rounds. You love to see it. Fight was only rated as being decent. That's not the greatest, but he is on a nice little 3-fight win streak, Jake Matthews, so you would imagine that he will be ranked in just a matter of moments. Israel Adesanya in our main event taking on his light heavyweight debut in Volkan Oezdemir. Now, Oezdemir, of course, a former title challenger against Daniel Cormier, I believe. I think he fought John Jones at some point, too. He did not. No, he did not. But he did fight Daniel Cormier and lost. He went on a nice little run. OSP Serkinov and then Jimmy Manoa. That's back when you could just win 3 fights and get a title shot right away. No, not today. But yeah, he's taking on Mr. Israel Adesanya, making his debut at light heavyweight. He's coming off a loss to Jared Cannonier for the middleweight title, and he decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to try out this light heavyweight thing. He is a underdog to Mr. Oezdemir, despite having, I think, a reach advantage as well. Yeah, reach of 80 inches, reach of 75 inches, a reach advantage, and 1 inch on height over Oezdemir. So we'll see how this pans out. It is his debut after all, but let's get it going. It is our main event live from New Zealand. That would be very disappointing if he just gets knocked out by Oezdemir here. All right, so Adesanya being a little dick to start things out. Adesanya pressuring. Oezdemir with a counter left. Adesanya attacking with strikes. Oezdemir with a jab. Adesanya attacks with a spin kick to the body. Almost halfway through round number 1. Adesanya coming forward to attack. Counter left hand. Uh-oh. Oezdemir is knocked down. Halfway through the round, looking to rain down punches. Adesanya pounds away, and referee Jason Herzog has to step in. And Israel Adesanya, in commanding fashion, wins via TKO in round number 1 in his light heavyweight debut. You gotta love it. That is our main events. The fans in New Zealand going crazy. All 1,500 of them. Commercial rating of only 80 is not great. No popularity changes, though. I'm sure that the TV stations are not going to be very pleased. Amir and Hawkfrost is our fight of the night. And then Adesanya will get 50K along with Mr. Jacob Nadeau. Lost some good money there, but that's okay. Appreciate you guys as always. Stay tuned for more. I'm AZPlyo21, and I will see you guys at the fights.